A long, long time ago, I can still remember the way that music used to make me smile. That's a line from American Pie by Don McLean. It describes the events that took place on February 3rd, 1959. Some say it's called the day the music died. Today, I would like to go into the crash that killed three promising and bright futures in the music industry. First, I would like to look at those three artists that lost their lives. Second, I would like to look at the accident itself. And third, I would like to look at the legacy that these musicians left behind. The first musician is Buddy Holly. He was born September 7th, 1936, and for one of his first bands that he formed was Buddy and the Crickets. He grew up in a very musical family and played many instruments from a very early age, but is most known for playing the guitar. He had a very successful solo career after Buddy and the Crickets went through some financial hardships. One of his greatest achievements as a solo artist is he opened for Elvis Presley in one of his first concerts. He was only 22 at the time of the crash. Some of his most famous songs are Peggy Sue, That'll Be the Day, Every Day, and Not Fade Away, which was re-recorded by the Beatles in 1960s. Next is Ritchie Valens. He was born May 13th, 1941, and was a rock and roll icon that started the Chicano rock movement. He was a Mexican American who wrote some songs about his Mexican heritage, but a lot of songs he wrote about teenage heartthrobs of the 50s and 60s. He had a very short career that only lasted about 8 months because when he died, he was only 17 years old. Some of his famous songs are La Bamba, which is also the name of his documentary dedicated to him, Come On, Let's Go, Donna, and We Belong Together. Last is J.P. Richardson, nicknamed the Big Bopper. He was born October 24th, 1930, and his first job was a disc jockey. He was the son of an oil field worker and loved to do with radars and radios. So when he was drafted into the military in the 50s, he became a radar instructor for 2 years. After that, he decided to go on a music career um, and produced many songs like Chantilly Lace, White Lightning, which later became a number one hit for George Jones, and Running Bear, which was wrote for Johnny Preston. He was only 28 at the time of the crash. Now, I would like to talk about the accident itself. They were on tour in Clear Lake, Iowa, performing a show when Buddy Holly got the idea to charter an airplane. Their bus was very broken down and had led to many cold nights in the winter. So, after the show, Holly went to the nearest airport and chartered a plane and a pilot who agreed to fly them. So, he and his bandmates were set to take off that night. But Tommy Alsop, one of his bandmates, lost his seat to a coin flip to Ritchie Valens. And Waylon Jennings, who later became known as one of the great classic country icons, one of Buddy Holly's bandmates, gave up his seat to the Big Bopper who had the flu. So, Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper, along with the pilot, left at 12:55 a.m. in a very, very small plane from Clear Lake, Iowa. When the plane took off, it only took mere minutes before the plane nosedived into the ground at 170 miles an hour, killing all four people instantly. The cause of the plane crash is unknown. Some say that the gauges malfunctioned and caused the plane to go down, but no one really knows. So the legacy. These three artists paved the way for the new genre of rock and roll. Many artists attribute that there wouldn't be rock and roll without these three artists. Some of the influenced artists of Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, Ritchie Valens is Bob Dylan, the Beatles, George Jones, Santana, and many others, just to name a few. So, even though this flight killed three bright and promising futures, the memories of these three artists live in the memories and the hearts of music lovers to this day. I'd like to leave you with another quote from Don McLean's American Pie. Something touched me deep inside the day the music died. That's the way a lot of people felt when they heard the news that killed these three innocent, and well loved singers.